We all have home remedies because when something's wrong with our bodies, we want an answer. We want a fix. We want to do something. But what happens when there isn't a fix? When you try the home remedy and the doctor, and maybe the next doctor, say, I don't know, and nothing works. When the thing that's wrong with you doesn't have a name and no one, including you, can explain it. That's where I found myself 6 years ago. I developed this crazy, serious skin reaction. I had open sores that were oozing pus and fluid on my hands. They were swollen, red, hot, and then that thing started climbing on my arms. And it was even hard to move my elbow joints. I even had sores on my legs. It was covering my whole body, and it was bad. For weeks, I couldn't get into doctors, and if I did see a doctor, a lot of them didn't have answers. Life felt hard. Not only did I feel like a leper, but we were also living in my parents' basement. Justin is trying to get his business off the ground. Tate, our firstborn, is 8 months old. I'm supposed to be working full-time as a dental hygienist to support our family, but as you can imagine, no one wants hospital plans. No. And it's the height of COVID, and also big surprise, I just found out working again. I found myself asking a swirl of questions. Can I hold Tate, my baby? Is he gonna get this? What about Justin? Can I touch him? Could this infection somehow harm Drew, our unborn baby? And when will I be able to be in public without scares? Also, when can I go back to work? Life felt confusing, hard, and isolating. The skin infection seemed to be draining us physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. There's a story in the Bible, in the book of Mark, that I found a lot of comfort in, and I think it's worth sharing. So Jesus is walking with his 12 disciples. His popularity is growing day by day. People are drawn to him. They're curious. They want to know, who is this guy? And on this particular day, it's not just a crowd. Mark says it's more of a mob. People are pressing in from every side, jostling for space, pulling him down toward the shore, all hoping to get close enough, maybe just to see him, to touch him, to be near to him. In the middle of all that noise, 2 people come asking for healing. One man is named Jairus. He's a synagogue ruler. He's probably really known in this community. Someone whose name people probably know and position people probably actually defer to. But none of that matters right now. His 12-year-old daughter is dying. So this respected man does something kind of undignified. The Bible says he falls at Jesus' feet, right there, in front of everyone, and begs him, come lay hands on my daughter, she's dying. So Jesus agrees, and they start moving through the crowd, probably urgency in every step. A little girl's life is running out. The other person who meet that day is a woman. We don't even know her name. For 12 years, she had 12 years of a body that wouldn't stop betraying her. 12 years is the same age as Jairus' daughter. So an entire lifetime for the daughter, an entire era of suffering for this woman. Under the law, her condition didn't just make her sick, it made her unclean. She's not supposed to worship, she can't be around people, friends, family, not casually in passing. Anyone who touches her becomes unclean too, according to the law. So for 12 years, she probably lived at a distance from her own community. Not by choice, but because the rules demanded it. 12 years of watching life happen around her, just out of reach. Our Pella, she'd spent everything on physicians. And instead of getting better, she only grew worse. Picture that. Money running out, hope running out, her body continuing to fail her anyway. No diagnosis, no name for what's happening inside her, just more appointments, more money spent, and less to show for each time. By the time she reaches Jesus, she has nothing left. No resources, no explanation, and no plan B. So, she does something crazy gold. In her desperation, she pushes into the mob she's technically not even supposed to be around. A woman who is supposed to stay away from crowds, wading straight into the thickest mob, maybe in reach at time right now. She thinks to herself that if I can just touch the edge of his garment, I'll be healed. not asking for conversation, not even making eye contact with him, just a touch from the edges of his garment, because maybe that's all she believes she's allowed to or able to ask for. So she doesn't. Goes through the mob and she reaches out, her fingers brushing the hem of his robe. And immediately, Mark says, the bleeding stops. She's restored. 12 years undone in one single touch. But then, something unexpected happens. Jesus stops walking. In the middle of this urgent errand to heal the 12-year-old girl, he feels the power go out of him, manifesting, who touched me. Well, as you can imagine, his disciples are also around him. He says, who touches me? And the disciples are like, what do you mean? Who touches you? Everything's touching you. But he doesn't move on. He keeps looking, scanning the crowd, waiting. And he makes eye contact with the woman. And the woman knows he needs her. And he says, who touched me? So trembling, afraid, she comes forward, falls at his feet in front of everyone and tells him the full truth. Perhaps more truth than she's spoken aloud to anyone in 12 years. And Jesus, in front of Jairus, in front of the crowd, in front of everyone who may have even flinched at the thought of her touching them, looks at this trembling, exhausted, unnamed woman. He says, daughter, your faith is healed. Go in peace and be free from your suffering. Daughter, the only time in all 4 Gospels Jesus calls a woman that word. He didn't get a long explanation for what had happened to her body, but she got something back. She got seen. She got danced. It doesn't just heal her physically. She gives her back her identity, her place, her belonging, right there, publicly, in front of everyone in her community that had probably cut their distance for 12 years. I don't know what it's like to wait 12 years, but for 6 months, I know what it's like to wait without an end date. Started with a reaction on my skin that no one could explain, and for 6 months, my days had a rhythm back. Uncomfortable mornings, waking up to a body that didn't feel like mine, and dark, hopeless nights where the discomfort and pain seemed to grow heavier the longer the day went on. People would ask, hey, what's going on with your skin? And every time the answer would be, I don't know. Doctors hoping for answers, hoping for a plan. Instead, I got more waiting weeks just to get an appointment. And sometimes when I did get in with doctors, they prescribed me medications I could be allergic to. And then being pregnant, I found out there were other medications that just wouldn't work. It was exhausting. Every door I tried to like over walk. No diagnosis, no name for what's happening, just more appointments from us to show each one. She, the woman, also kept reaching for doctors too, spending everything she had, only to get worse, not better. I understand that particular kind of exhaustion. So at night, when the discomfort was loudest and the answers were nowhere, I started praying. Not long, eloquent prayers, short, earnest ones, whispered into the dark. Jesus, heal me. You can heal me by morning if you wanted to. Give me peace. Come sit beside me, mess. And when the healing didn't come as fast as I wanted it to, my prayer shifted. Help me understand that word. Even when things around me feel dark and heavy. I didn't get a diagnosis. I never did get a clear explanation for what was happening to me, but somewhere in those 6 months, afraid in the dark, I started to understand what the woman reaching for the hem of the robe was understanding. That the answer I actually needed was never going to be a medical one. It was going to be him, meeting me, naming me, reminding me that my rhythm was never tied to my body and having an explanation. So then in time, the feeling didn't come. I stayed clear, the reaction had no name and no fear, didn't stop. I still watch it carefully now, still pay attention when something feels off, but I'm not watching out of fear anymore. I'm watching it someone so I know it's how the story goes when I'm ready to take it. I still don't have an explanation for the 6 months, but I don't need one. Because in the middle of that, I learned I wasn't just a woman waiting for received to heal. I am his God. So in our city, we do have a practice of sharing our thoughts around the table. Feel free to share thoughts or just listen. We often ask, what stood out to you? What resonates with you personally? Where do you see Jesus in these stories? What questions are coming up for you? So take the next few minutes and listen to people around you.